I remember the intense fear and excitement coursing through me the night I found myself in front of the looming gate of the Malvezzi castle, a castle thousands of years old that overlooks Orvinio, a tiny village of roughly 300 people that sits on a mountain northeast of Rome in Italy. The child in me was bursting with euphoria, feeling like I was in a fairy tale village, the kind in stories that begin with "once upon a time." This wasn't my first time here though. A few weeks earlier, I had actually visited for the first time with my LSA group. It had been part of our official programming, and we were to spend a weekend here. I was excited because I had never been in a medieval village before, much less one that was probably older than Rome itself. When we arrived, I was so anxious to drop my stuff off and go out to see what I could find. I was keen on exploring whenever I could get the chance because I knew that we had a packed schedule. As much as I was excited for our programming, I was also hoping to have time to explore on my own because I wanted to develop my own relationship with the town. During our time together, I remember eating fresh cheese made in front of us, taking a guided tour, and learning to dance saltarella, which was one of my personal favorites. However, I kept longing to be given the time to process the town on my own, to be given the chance to take it all in. Given what we were doing, I found everyone and everything feeling so nonchalant, and I wondered if maybe I was being too naive and just needed to get over it. I ended up accepting that there was going to be an agenda, even in a place like this, and I felt constrained, as though I couldn't fully take in Orvinio's ancient charm. When we came back to Rome, I was left feeling hungry for more. I had enjoyed my time, but I still felt like I needed to go back to fully process it. At the same time, however, I was also questioning myself on whether that would be worth it. With our week off coming up, my thoughts lingered on what I would miss out on if I went back to a place I had already seen. Would it be better to go somewhere else and come back being able to say I saw something new? My professor and Maurizio, one of the Orvinians, encouraged me to take the time to go back if I truly felt like it. So feeling validated, I coordinated on how to get back because, given the town's location, there was no direct public transportation there. After much consulting with Maurizio, as well as a couple of questionable Italian websites, I found myself having to board a packed train I had never used before. Being back, I found a sense of tranquility and excitement seeing Orvinio in a different light. I was no longer on an agenda. This was my time to make the most out of it. Maurizio was excited to see me excited, and he happily encouraged my plan to just explore and reflect for the sake of it. "What will you do?" he asked in Italian. "I don't know," I replied. "There's no plan." He nodded understandingly and told me that that was the best plan. Over the next 3 days, I spent time doing what I had wanted to do, and also things I never expected nor imagined. I got lost in streets so narrow that one person could barely fit, and freaked out over hearing my footsteps ricochet off the buildings. In one instance in particular, I walked around the town until I found a bench sitting at the edge of the mountain. I sat down and was able to take my time breathing and considering where I was, as well as what I was doing. All I could hear was the wind blowing softly past my ears and the occasional bark of a dog. I memorized these sounds and accepted the quiet, chill life here, as well as my awe of it. I went back to Maurizio's place later that day and played checkers with his children. In the evenings, I had dinner with the entire family, who offered me way too many dishes and asked me if I knew how to cook. Embarrassed, I told them that as much as I loved food, I didn't know how to cook myself. "We will teach you. All the more reason to come back another time," Maurizio exclaimed rapidly. In the end, I came back with a greater and renewed appreciation for the place I had already seen. I hadn't missed out, but I had deepened my relationship with the town and people like Maurizio and his family. I ultimately realized that checking off boxes for places to see was less important to me than it was to develop a personal relationship with one place. I still came back having done different things from the first time I was in Orvinio. I know that when I go back, there will be something different there for me as well, even if it's once again at the gates of the looming castle.